Hey everybody, good morning. I'm over here laughing because once again, I have forgotten to start to get my microphone in the right spot. I am so sorry about that, guys. How are you? Good morning. It's Saturday. Hope that you're doing well. Let me finish up some of my final preparations here. Trying to get my Instagram going. It's not easy being a streamer, guys. I do not recommend it as a career choice. There's a lot of things that have to happen in order to make a stream start on time and looking good and all that other stuff. I do not recommend this line of work. But I hope you're well. It's another Saturday for us to come together, talk about data science, talk about the data science school that I'm trying to start, and really just spend time in the fellowship of data science and all that. So let me also go ahead and add my pinned comment to my Instagram over here. All right, and then let me also get my act together, maybe center myself a little bit more. Okay, so I should be nice and center with my Instagram people. All right, so I finally got my act together. I got everything going. How are you guys? Hope everything is doing well. Hope you're good in your corner of the world. Lots of crazy things happening in our world, so I hope that you're doing good and safe out where you are. I'm doing pretty good. I'm starting my weekend. I got a little bit of a busy weekend ahead of me. My parents are coming back to live with me for a little bit of time. So looking forward for their arrival later today. And tomorrow is Mother's Day in the United States. So for those of you celebrating, happy Mother's Day. So I'm going to be taking my parents out for the holiday tomorrow, which also means that we will not, I repeat, not be having our neural networks course tomorrow. We're going to push that till next week because I'm going to be taking them out and we're going to, have some fun tomorrow morning. And, I just have to switch some things around. I wasn't really expecting my parents until Monday, but they did call me yesterday afternoon and said they were coming in later today. So we got to just kind of roll with the punches there, right? So that's okay. We'll leave that for next Sunday. For today, I'd still like to focus on my data science school. As you know, I am trying to get 1,000 students to sign up before August 1st. And the keyword there is before, because I have a feeling that a lot of people are waiting until the last minute. And I'm really trying to discourage that because that means that the school is just not going to get off the ground. I want to see the interest prior to August 1st. So if you want to sign up, please go ahead and do so. What I'm going to start to do is I'm going to start to have price increases as we get closer to August 1st because I really want people to sign up. I really want to see the groundswell of support. That's why you have founding memberships. The founding memberships are the ones that help you kind of get things off the ground. And also, in a way, it's an experiment for me, right? It's an experiment for me to see if there's actually interest in having a data science school. Maybe there isn't enough interest, right? I have to be open to that possibility. So please, if you want to sign up, go ahead and do that. Would really appreciate your support. And also, I'm building the school in public, so there's no Fire Fest over here. This is this is actually going to happen. I'm actually working on it live on stream and also, of course, away from stream because I'm going to need extra time, right? But please go ahead and sign up. Okay, so oh, and by the way, if you're in the chat, feel free to say hello. Just let us know how you're doing, where you're from, what you're going on this week, and anything you want us to know. So in the chats, my good friend Anise. Hello, Anise. How are you? So good to see you. Hello, Dennis. I hope you're having a beautiful day. It's been a while. I haven't joined these YouTube lives. Happy to be here. Well, we're happy you're here. You're here too, and welcome back. Love having you here. I always like seeing people come back because I never want somebody to feel like this is a class or that they've let me down by missing a few streams or whatnot. Because sometimes people give me those comments. So welcome back. Hope you're doing well, Anise. I think this is still part of your weekend. I think this is the last day of your weekend. So hope you're doing well out in your part of the world. And thanks for being here. But if anybody else wants to say hello, feel free to do so in the chat. Otherwise, we are going to just keep on talking about the curriculum and keep on talking about the different options that I want to include in some of these courses. Yesterday, we got to talking a little bit about the 10 commandments of data science, the different overarching pieces of information that I want to get out there to set the tone for the for the entire school, really, right? Not just for the course, but for the entire school. So we started talking through that. I think we got a pretty good conversation going based on that, because there's a lot of things that go into saying, well, what really is an important overarching theme for data science, right? Discussions like that, I think, are really important because it helps you also keep on understanding other people's perspectives. And understanding other perspectives is a huge, huge part of data science, right? If you're too blinded to be able to see other people's perspectives, then you will never really succeed as much as you could in data science, right? There will be a ceiling to how you can progress if you're not able to keep an open mind to other people's views, right? So we're going to keep on talking about some of that, about some of those overarching commandments that I have for data science. And then maybe we can start looking at some of the other courses too. I know I have a couple of courses like the machine learning course, which I know is going to be a big course. So my gut tells me that I should probably start putting some of those thoughts down into the software and kind of see where that ends up, right? See how that further develops because, it's one thing to write down the curriculum on a notepad, but it's another to actually start putting it into the software and how it structures there. Sometimes a structure may need to be reworked. Other times that process brings even more ideas that you didn't think about even when you were planning it out on a notepad. So I think I want to do a combination of all of those things. And kind of keep an open mind along the way, right? Where I should be open to also thinking about, oh, I forgot this topic, or, well, this topic really no longer makes sense, so let me move it to another course, or things like that, right? So we're going to do a combination of all of those things today, okay? All right, so let me bring up my classroom view. And, well, first of all, let me go back here to, have to log in. Let me go back to the homepage. So if you go to school.datasciencewithdennis.com, this is the homepage that you'll be brought to. And on this homepage, you'll be able to see some of the courses and everything else that I have in mind. And you're going to see a parallel to all the things that we've been talking about. Yesterday, we were here. We were working on the 10 commandments of data science. And this is what I have so far. I have 5 commandments already down. We'll go over these quickly in case you guys want to add to these. Let me quickly go to the chat. Is it Bowie? I think it's Bowie. If I'm pronouncing that wrong, please let me know. Dennis, you're awesome. God bless you. This is very, very useful. Oh, thank you so much. I appreciate that. I'm expecting that we're gonna keep on seeing more new people in the chat, because Bowie, I think this is your first time here, so welcome. I think people are continually being introduced to my content for the first time. Last year, the summer was a huge time of growth for my channel because, I think students are out in a good part of the world. So I restarted my streams overnight where I talk about the Introduction to Statistical Learning book. And if you guys want to check that out, or if you're new to the channel, or you want to revisit some of my old content, thank you so much. I'm happy to put it out there, and everything I do is archived, and you guys can refer to it at any time. But Bowie, Thanks for being here. Let us know what part of the world you're from, and glad you're here. Okay, so these are the 5 commandments that I have so far. Now remember, I'm going to be holding back some items from you guys, right? Because I want the people that were supporting my stream to also be surprised when you log into the actual school, right? Because I wanted to kind of, well, I mean, I don't want you guys to think like, well, I saw this stream, so I saw everything there is to see, right? I want it to be a little bit of surprise for you guys too. So, these are the 5, but I'm definitely going to be adding to this list. So data science is not code, math, or models. Data science is a process. I cannot wait to get that out more because that is the number one mistake I see people doing. People think that, oh, I want to learn data science, so I better go learn Python. I better go do pandas. I better go review my matrix multiplication or whatever. That's not data science. The way you learn data science is not the way you apply data science, and that's always been a theme in everything I've done, where I talk about data science from a real world perspective, right? How you actually do it in the real world when you're you're actually getting a paycheck as a data scientist. A large part of data science is managing bias in your business, data, and yourself. So data science is, the purest form of data science is basically removing bias from your data. That's it. Like if somebody asks you for the most concise definition of data science, that's probably it, right? It's the removal of bias from your decisions. You're doing what the data tells you. So I think that's a really important commandment to keep from the very beginning. Creating an algorithm is an iterative process that happens through the use of experiments, right? Basically, you have to apply the scientific method in order to, create the best algorithm you can, right? And finally, algorithms must be maintained. Nobody ever tells you that in academic environments. Nobody even tells you that in Kaggle, right? You write an algorithm, you reach some sort of desired results or desired state for your grade, for your competition, for your professor, or whatever. And then you're done with it, right? You never touch it again. That's not real life, right? Algorithms change. Algorithms are dynamic. Data changes. So what do you do about that? Like you got to do something about that, right? So those are the 5 commandments that I have so far. Let me know in the chat what you think. Let me know if I missed anything. If you think there should be others. If you're surprised by any of this, let me know, okay? But what I want to do now is I want to go back to our curriculum list. I want to look at our machine learning course. So if this is your first time attending this chat, this is just a simple notepad that we've been working off of on the different courses and the different topics within those courses. So in data science, obviously, I have to have a course on machine learning, right? So I have that course, and these are the proposed topics that are going to be in each one of these courses. So I want to start building out the machine learning one in the same way that we've kind of started here for the data science commandments, okay? So I'm going to do that by going to the home, going down to the machine learning course here. And then if I go to edit mode, I should be able to open it up. Yes, cool. So from the very top, introduction to machine learning is going to be my first topic. And now what I'm going to do is I'm basically just going to use the same sections from my notepad and bring them over. So here, the first section is going to be supervised and unsupervised studies. Next section is going to be cross-validation. Cross-validation, we had a very interesting conversation on Thursday, I believe. On Thursday, about trying to explain cross-validation in the most basic terms possible. That's pretty challenging, right? Because cross-validation can be a little bit of a tricky topic, but one of the few complaints I have about the Introduction to Statistical Learning book is that I wish it had introduced cross-validation much earlier in the book. Super important topic in data science. Right? You can't really understand how algorithms learn unless you know about cross-validation. So I'm going to try to fix that, and I'm going to talk about cross-validation as early as I can in this course. So we'll see how that works out. It feels right now, but that's one of those things that maybe as I'm actually developing the materials, my sentiment on that will change. We'll see. Okay, so what's next? Cross-validation. That's right. And then we have training cycles and predictive cycles. Huge topic. Another one of those things that just isn't taught in school, right? You usually train a model. Maybe you run a couple of predictive cycles, but nothing large scale, right? I haven't seen any academic or Udemy courses or whatever that's set up for large scale practice of predictive cycles. So, predictive cycles, after that, I want to talk about time series models. And then I want to talk about... Oh, wait, hold on a second. I jumped way ahead. This should be classification models, Dennis. How did I do that? That was a massive mistake, Dennis. And then I want to talk about predictive models, I think was the next one. And then I believe it was time series. Give me just a second here, guys. Going to try to fix my Instagram chat. Okay, so on Instagram, Manisis, I think, is it Manisis? Manisis, well, first of all, welcome. I think it's your first time. Manisa says, hey, Dennis, how can we connect our learning model with reinforcement basis? Right now, my model is performing well, but if I add it to reinforcement, is it able to get feedback? Can you please give some? Manny says, welcome. Can you please clarify what you mean? How can we connect our learning model with reinforcement basis? Right now, my model is performing well, but if I add it to reinforcement, is it able to get feedback? I don't understand what you mean by is it able to get feedback. Can you please clarify a little bit? I mean, I'm happy to try to help you, but I'm not sure if I'm really getting it. So feel free to add whatever clarification you can, okay? All right, so where were we? We were here on time series models. What was next? Model metrics. Right. Okay. So, guys, give me some feedback on this, please, in the chat. So, as I was putting this together, I realized I don't have clustering models. Does clustering models deserve its own section, or is it part of classification, or is it part of unsupervised learning? I don't know. What do you guys think? I can't believe that nobody caught that before in the chat, that there's no clustering models. I mean, technically it's classification. right? Technically, it's classification, but it's not always classification. So I think it might deserve its own section. Let me know if anybody in the chat has feedback about that. But, yeah, I don't know, guys. Excuse me. I think I'm going to put it after classification models. I think. Or before it? Huh. Let me know what you guys think. I might have to get some feedback on that from you guys, or have a think on it on my own. Yeah, I can't believe nobody caught that in the chat. I didn't catch it either. I didn't catch it until just now. All right, so time series models, we're down to model metrics. What else have we got? Mixed models. And then the pitfalls of machine learning. All right. Okay. I think this is pretty good. Oh, I better change this also, because I did add that. All right. So let's go ahead and leave that there. What do I want to work on next? I think I want to work on the... Let's work on the basics of natural language processing. That could be fun. Anise says, maybe part of unsupervised, just my educated guess. Yeah, there. I see that, Anise. There's definitely a case for that. So I'm trying. Here's the thing, Anise. Clustering does fit under unsupervised because generally speaking, that is the greater use case. But clustering algorithms are not always unsupervised. But if it's a supervised clustering algorithm, then it's usually pretty close to a classification algorithm, right? Like that's basically when you switch a clustering algorithm to supervised, like that's basically the definition of a classified algorithm, right? It's labeled data. So yeah, maybe it should be under unsupervised. Let me see what that looks like. So if I go here, supervised and unsupervised study, and then clustering models, maybe. Let's, you know what, sometimes you gotta let things sit and then you gotta come back to it, right? See how it feels later. So Anise, I'm on board with what you're saying. Let's put it under cluster, let's put it under unsupervised. But you know, let's let it sit, let's let it breathe a little, right? Over on Instagram, 9141 says, hey Dennis, love your videos. You clarify complex concepts very easy. Thank you, I appreciate that. Yeah, you know, I've heard this before. This is one of the compliments that I get a lot. And that's always been one of my strengths, where I've always been able to explain complex stuff very easily, or you know, in a very basic way. So I appreciate that you're noticing that. I heard that. You know, this was also helpful for me. Well, I mean, it's been helpful throughout my entire career, even when I was like just like doing traditional like software development stuff, right? You know, because I was like a traditional developer for like a long time, right? Like 10 plus years. So that also helped me then, because just like in data science, most like your average coder is terrible at explaining things, right? Like your average coder is terrible at speaking to executives, right? Um, and that's kind of one of the reasons why I had success as a developer. I moved up quickly in those ranks because everybody else talks like a potato, right? So yeah, I mean, to me, that's one of my best soft skills, that I'm able to take complex topics and talk to anybody about them. I'm good about reading the room. I'm good about understanding my audience. Whether you need an email or you need a presentation or you need me to just talk to you, like I can break things down. So if that's a soft skill that you want to start working on, I highly recommend it, because I have found it very, very helpful in all phases of my career and in um, all like the different trades that I've had, right? Like if a year from now you decide that data science is not for you and you want to go do like cybersecurity, well, soft skills are still important in cybersecurity, right? Like your career in cybersecurity will be limited if you don't have soft skills. Just like they would be in data science, just like they would be as a developer, or any number of things. So yeah, I appreciate you saying that. You know, I have heard it. You know, it's been an asset of mine that's really helped me. So thanks for being here, 9141. Any things we can help you with, just let us know, okay? All right, so we're leaving clustering models under unsupervised studies. You know, let's see how we feel about that in a little bit. Okay, so we were going to go to natural language processing. I haven't created the thumbnail for that one yet, but we will soon. So basics of natural language processing should be interesting. I'm choosing this because I recently had a call with one of my coaching clients, and we went through some of these NLP items. They were showing me some NLP code that they had developed, and we were kind of walking through it step by step. So should be fun. Should be fun to talk about some of these topics. All right. So here I want to talk about data collection. Data collection in NLP is usually more complex than other projects, usually. Okay. Data pre-processing, that is a huge topic. I have stop words as my next one. Conjugations. And EDA for NLP. And visualizations for NLP. You guys want to know a secret to visualization for NLP? Stakeholders love a good word cloud. You can never go wrong with including a word cloud in one of your documents or one of your presentations or one of your deliverables. They love those word clouds, let me tell you. So that's going to be a big part of the visualization side, the EDA, conjugations, stop words. I feel like I need to add another section. I think I need to add something here. So in NLP, perhaps more so than any other data science practice, I think, you're going to rely on toolkits, right? Like very, very, very few people out there are writing their own, like their own raw Python native code for NLP. Almost immediately from the beginning, you're introducing some sort of toolkit. It just makes more sense because of the way of the unique nature of text data, right? So, yeah, I think I want to talk about toolkits for NLP fairly early. And that could be, well, I don't want to get ahead of myself, but I'm already thinking about what exactly I'm going to talk about there because that can also be complex. But let me make sure it's reflected here. So I got to add a section and then move it. So does anybody want to share their favorite toolkit for NLP? If you don't have one, that's okay, right? NLP is kind of unique. Yeah, let's go ahead and leave that there. All right, and I already added it to my list. Yeah. Okay. All right, so where are we going to go next? Should we go to the advanced natural language processing? Maybe we should. Yeah, maybe we should. Let's go to the advanced natural language processing. We'll leave this one alone, but then we'll go here and start filling this out. And then use Ngram. Anybody want to give me a definition for Ngrams? Talk to me like I'm a managing director. How are you explaining Ngrams to me? Think on that one for a little bit. Neural networks for NLP. Model deployment. Gosh, is that all I have for advanced NLP? I guess that because some of these are going to be huge. I think I want to close this off by talking about toolkits for advanced NLP. Because I think that there is a difference in levels in the tools that are available, whether you're just doing some initial stuff in NLP or something that's a little bit more advanced. So I think that's kind of critical. So we're going to go ahead and add that. All right, guys. So the question in the chat, if you want to take something on, is how do you explain engrams to a managing director? Now, keep in mind, the second you use some large technical words, they've stopped listening, right? You've lost them. So how do you explain engrams to somebody like a managing director? What do you guys think? Let me know in the chat. All right, so I got my... All right, let's let that sit. Where do I want to go next? I think I want to talk about... Okay, let's go to advanced statistics. That one's going to be some of these I'm really looking forward to writing because I think they could be a lot of fun. There it is. Advanced statistics is one of them. I think that there's a lot of really interesting topics in here that are going to be really, really challenging to explain, and that's what I look forward to, right? So coming back to that similar statement or that earlier statement by 9141, it's a skill. It's a skill to be able for me to explain these complex topics, right? And these are going to be a challenge. Some of these are going to be a challenge, right? So, inferential statistic. And then I want to talk about ANOVA. ANOVA is a recent addition. We had forgotten it in our previous discussions, strangely enough. So ANOVA is there. What else do we have? We have A/B testing. A/B testing is another one that's interesting because A/B testing, people in business think they know what it is, but they don't know the math or the requirements behind A/B testing in a lot of situations. Especially marketing people. Marketing people think they understand A/B testing without really understanding the different thresholds and whatnot that are involved. So there's T testing, there's Z testing, regression model. All right. In the chat, 90. Oh. Okay, Anise in the chat says sequence of words or characters for engrams. Okay. But the managing director is going to ask you, one, why does that matter? And two, how are you coming up with them? Right? You got to give me a little more in that definition. Like, why should I even care about engrams? And like, are you just randomly putting them together or what? So think about that one, guys. How do you explain it to also justify like your usage of them, right? Maybe I should have clarified my initial query. 9141 says, Dennis, do you think developers will shift to a C or assembly like language because it's closest to machine code, thus less processing required to run applications because we can use LLMs for coding? So 9141, let me make sure I'm understanding you. But are you saying that those languages will become more popular because there's nothing stopping us from writing in C or assembly now, right? Because that's one of the things I've kind of said in all of my streams, right? That all code should be possible to you, right? Like there's no more code you can't write. So is that what you're saying, 9141? You're asking because, like, code is accessible, so everybody should be doing in C or assembly? Help me understand that, okay? Okay, so we had just closed out advanced statistics. Yeah. I think that's all I wanted to cover in that section. Okay, so where do we want to go next? I'm just taking a second look at what I've done. I think that makes sense. Yeah. All right, so where do we want to go next? Bringing up my sheet again. I'm going to bring this over so people on Instagram can perhaps better see it. We've already done the advanced statistics. I don't want to do data science methodology right now. Anti-web scraping for data. Oh, let's really quickly do the causality studies one. That could be fun to quickly talk about. So if you don't know about causality studies, that's okay. You are not alone. I wasn't really fully aware of them until, I don't know, maybe 2 years ago? Something like that? 2 years ago? 3 years ago? So let me put in this one, causality studies, and yeah, the case against data science is one of my sections. So if you guys are not familiar with causality studies, I'll give you guys a shocking revelation. Not everybody's a fan of data science, guys. There are people out there who say data science is a bunch of nonsense. Believe it or not, that is the case. There are people out there who say, that data science stuff is dumb. I am going to do causality studies instead. Or something else. Right? But if you start reading some of those books, like you start looking at them and it's like, oh my gosh, some of this stuff makes sense. What the heck? Like maybe data science is crazy. So if you guys do not know about causality studies, I highly recommend that you look at them. I think they're a lot of fun. Over on Instagram, Bunny Birdie Gator says, hi Dennis. Hey, how are you? Nice to see you. So Bunny Birdie Gator is a fellow content creator. If you want to go check out their channel, please do so. But we met at a YouTube event here in Las Vegas, maybe like 6 weeks ago now or whatever. So glad to see you, and thanks for coming by. I hope you're doing well. Anise over on YouTube says, because if I work with Gen AI based on tokens, whether in context window or model completion, n-grams matter. Again, this is just an educated guess, and I'm happy to be wrong. Anise, you had me at Gen AI, you lost me at tokens. Because now the managing director is asking you, well, what's a token, right? Like, what are these tokens you speak of, right? So yeah, you're on the right track. You're on the right track, and certainly we can understand you, right? But the challenge is, how do you tell that to like the non-technical people, the people that are one, non-technical, and two, they just need like the quick answer, right? The most concise answer that you can offer up, right? So you're on the right track. You're on the right track. Yeah, so as I was saying, guys, not everybody's a fan of data science. And, as a data scientist, I have to keep my mind open, right? Maybe they're right. So I have started to point out during some of my streams, during some of the Sunday tutorials, where I spot those things of why people would debate against data science, right? Like, you start to see things in a different way, right? So for example, when we do hyperparameter tuning and you do a grid search for hyperparameters, like that's part of data science, right? Hyperparameter tuning is some of the experiments that you're running in your data to create your models, right? Totally valid. But doesn't it feel a little bit like brute forcey, right? Like you're gonna find the model by testing every single model possible, right? Like that's another way of saying grid search, right? So is that a good thing? Is that a bad thing? The causality experts would tell you that that's a bad thing. But who knows? Maybe it is, maybe it isn't, right? So something to think about there, guys. But I really I wouldn't feel right about having a data science school without talking about that, right? Because you're not if you're not looking at every possible angle, then you're not really doing your work as a data scientist, right? So that should be fun to put together. And that is all I have for now. So I will need to develop that, but for now, I'm going to delete these other sections. Obviously, there has to be more than 2 sections here. So yeah, let me think about this one, but I do need to add more to this. Okay. So we might have hit the limit of what I want to do today on some of these items. Yeah. So we're going to pick it up here again the next time that we meet. So guys, real quick, let me do some housekeeping here. So you guys know that I normally stream Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Sundays is usually my weekly tutorial, like my series tutorial. But I need to cancel tomorrow. We are not meeting tomorrow for the neural network series. Right now, we're doing a series on neural networks. If you guys are interested in that, I highly encourage you to attend. But we're going to take a pause tomorrow, and I'll come back next week for it. I'm pausing tomorrow because it's Mother's Day here in the US. My parents are coming today. They're going to stay with me for a little bit. I wasn't expecting them until Monday, but they're getting here a little earlier. So that's why I hadn't previously canceled. But they called me yesterday. They're going to be here later today. They're going to be here in a couple hours, actually. So yeah. So I need to cancel because I'm going to take my parents out for Mother's Day. And we'll just have to pick it up next Sunday. Okay? So thank you all so much for being here. Thank you all so much for contributing to the different thoughts behind the data science school. Again, I'm looking to open by August 1st, but please don't wait to sign up because I want to see the support, right? I want to see that there's people out there that really want to learn. And also, I have to invest in servers. I have to invest in a consultant to help me with some of the Moodle configuration. I have to, get some work behind this, right? So hopefully you'll sign up. The links are in your chat, so I appreciate that. But otherwise, we'll meet again on Thursday, right? I'll stream again on Thursday, 1500 GMT. So whatever time you logged in, same time on Thursday, okay? So guys, we live in a very crazy, very dynamic world. I worry about all of you because I know that I have followers all over the world. So please, as always, take care of yourselves, take care of your families, and I'll see you guys next time.